Hey, this is Boone. Welcome back to the adventures of Creepy Ball Uncle, the King of Low Sec, and now also King of High Sec. I have been having some fun in Red versus Blue, playing in a couple of fleets. Once in a while, they will define a fleet as certain ship types. In this case, it was a cruiser fleet. So I decided I would join anyway and use a frigate, not because I can't fly a cruiser or anything, just to even the odds. But it doesn't seem to matter, even though I am in a frigate. I am recognized by the enemy as the highest priority, so I get targeted fairly quickly as soon as I get into range. Now, because I'm still fighting mostly cruisers, I'm trying as hard as I can to get under their guns. And what I found is that while I can get under a cruiser's guns, it's considerably more difficult to get under the guns of about 20 cruisers. So I was playing with a couple of different fits. Early on, I tried a micro warp drive fit. I went back to my standard kind of 400 plate and ancillary rep fit, and this worked okay. But I was losing pretty quickly. All these clips here are from the same battle. I reshipped quite a number of times because I was having some fun, and luckily it was going on long enough that I had time to go back to station, refit, and come back out again. Now, after the third time I got blown up, I decided to try a super cheap plate fit, because it seems that if they're going to be primering me so often, I may as well have it cost a little bit less in the long run. There I am again. This is the super cheap plate fit, and as you can see, I mean, it doesn't do too badly, but I'm a little concerned about what a frigate can really accomplish or contribute in a fight that consists mostly of cruisers. And that's not to say that frigates are not important. They absolutely are important for tackle and whatnot, but if you have a fleet which has, say, 18 cruisers and there's one frigate, people are going to wonder, why is that frigate there? And of course, they'll quickly deduce that the frigate is the most dangerous thing on the field, and it'll get knocked out fairly quickly. So I decided that I would come up with something else to contribute, and what I came up with is a crucifier, which is a T1 Amar electronic warfare ship that specializes in tracking disruptors. I was a little surprised to see how fast this thing was. I mean, I only put 2 nanofibers on it in a micro warp drive. But I decided that I would give it a shot, and here you see that indeed I do give it a shot. And wow, do I tracking disrupt the hell out of this destroyer that just wandered into Blue Gate camp. Op success. Later on, I'm back in the Punisher, and I was scouting around the Red headquarters, and they had an absolution on the on-dock. Now, I'm not really sure why anyone would use a high hit point, high resist command ship on a station on dock in a high-sec war declaration, because it seems kind of risky. It seems like you could get targeted fairly easily. But anyway, we put out a little bit of bait, and once he got aggressive with the absolution, I warped in along with a bunch of other blues, and we decided to start to burn down this absolution. And it seems to be working okay. I mean, we all come in, we're putting our DPS in the absolution. I've got him scrammed, but I think what happened here is that he saw the fleet come in, and he thought, well, I can probably tank this fleet. I'm an absolution. But he saw me come in, and he thought, oh, it's a creepy bald uncle trap, and he deaggressed and he redocked. This is one of the problems that I think I might face in high sec where others might not. I'm sure that docking games aren't all that common. But I did manage to get some duels, which was refreshing after that disappointment. I mean, as I said before, I haven't really done it before, so this gives me a chance to kind of play around with this aspect of Eve that I really haven't done very much. And I fighting this fellow in his dual rep and curses, which is a pretty standard fit. The problem I ran into is that my rep, sometimes these ancillary reps, like I hit them because I want to rep my armor, and sometimes they just start blinking like this. And I don't understand why this happens. I mean, I hit the rep button, not the blink button. I guess I could get used to it. It's alright. So now I'm fighting the same guy again. I come in on him, trying to get my scramble, but he just starts moving away from me. Now this was surprising me. I didn't know. I thought maybe that he was rail fit, because as you can see, I'm still taking damage. But what this is a good psychological trick that got played on me, because what he did was he sent out his drone to attack me, and then he just kind of turned around. I think he left his PC to go get a loaf of bread or something that he said in the chat at a certain point. But it made me think that maybe he had some sort of extreme fit with like long range rails, and that psyched me out a little bit. It's all right. I came back in. Now, during this fight, I trained Thermodynamics 3, and this turned out to be key, because right about here, he winds up burning out some of his modules. I think he burned out his prop mod. So, yeah, I did it. I used Thermodynamics to successfully win a fight by making someone burn out modules on their ship. Good game. And here we have our third, I suppose, our rubber match. Now, one thing that I hadn't really noticed before is that he's not scramming me. If you notice, he doesn't have a scram on me. He's just using a web. I think this is a really interesting idea. It makes people think that you're tackled, because of course, like, why wouldn't you be tackled? When in fact he's just using the mid slot for a web of fire and limiting my movement that way, which is effective against the afterburner, unlike a scrambler. This is a good idea, and I think it's a reasonable trick that I think everyone should try, especially when soloing, because the ability to slow someone down is probably that much more important than the ability to keep someone from running away. Later on, I ran into this guy, and he wanted to test a theory. He had this ship fit out specifically to fight frigates, so he wanted to see if his double web cruiser, designed specifically to kill frigates, could handle a 1-month-old pilot in a Punisher. Yeah, and I gave it a go. It seemed like a reasonable idea. It turned out that he can handle a 1-month-old pilot in a Punisher. So then he decided, can you fit up something kitey? And I don't really have very many good kiting fits. It's not something I do a lot, but I kind of threw together this random executioner. And as you can see, I'm actually a lot better at kiting than I thought I was. As you can see, I masterfully approach without getting into the web range. Then I keep right on the edge of scorch all the time, and then I definitely do not warp off completely by mistake without noticing that I'm actually winning the fight. So after those couple of tests, we decided let's have some good old T1 frigate brawls, and I'm always up for T1 frigate brawls. I think they're great. He's got yet another dual weapon curses. This seems to be pretty popular in red versus blue for some reason, and I do get him in a little in the structure, but man, he can rep like mad. But what I really want you to notice here is the power and majesty and steadfastness of the Punisher, as it withstands all incoming damage without faltering. Its hull strong and resilient against all incoming threats, never wavering, imposing its will upon the universe. That's why I love the Punisher. But then he decided, I have another ship I'd like to try. And what he had was a dual web Merlin. And this is an interesting idea. Normally you see dual web Merlins fit with rails so that they can keep people right on the edge of scram and web range and just pound on them with rails outside their optimal. Now, This is a less than great idea against a Punisher or any MR ship with T2 pulse lasers because, of course, Scorch covers that. So he changed it up here, and he's using blasters with Void, which I can definitely get behind. I think that is a fine idea. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out for him, and the reason it didn't work out is because, of course, I was the opponent. Then he says, I think I made a mistake with that. He had an MWD on it, so he refits to an afterburner and comes back. And this version of his ship does a lot better than the previous version, but there's still a fitting mistake, and it's not an obvious fitting mistake. What he has is he has a plate on his Merlin, and it's not that plated Merlins are necessarily bad, but you're fighting a Punisher, and a plate, honestly, is the domain of the MR, not conniving boardroom Kaldarian. So, unfortunately, in this duel, I have to show him exactly what a hostile takeover really is. Amar style. Burn the heretics with Scorch, Amar Victor, blah, 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 blah. It was actually a lot of fun. So that's just a couple of things I've been doing recently with Creepy Bald Uncle, the King of Low Sec, and now High Sec. And thank you for watching. And I don't know what I'll be doing next, but I'm sure whatever it is that I will be great at it. See you next time.